Hey y'all, TRG here and welcome back to another video. In this video, we'll be going over a massive blast that will be impacting much of the United States this week, as well as going over the potential for severe weather to close out 2024. Let's go right on into today's video. We're going to start out here with your 12Z GFS model run with precipitation type provided by tropicaltidbits.com. Let's go right ahead and pull this on out. We are currently seeing a clipper system entering the United States out here and portions of Montana into western North Dakota. That's going to continue to push off to the southeast, potentially dropping up to half a foot of snowfall over portions like Twin Cities in Minnesota. Pulling that into tomorrow morning, you'll see that blast of snowfall and cold air continuing into Wisconsin, Illinois, into Michigan and Indiana as we go into the afternoon and evening hours of tomorrow. Then pulling it in towards Friday morning, this is going to make its way into the entire state of Michigan, into Ohio, and then eventually Friday night it's going to make its way into the Northeast, where it's going to meet a low pressure system off the coastline of the New England states here. Now, if you hate snow, this is actually a good scenario here because this low pressure system is too far out. If this blast were, say, I don't even know, maybe just 6 hours to 12 hours quicker, this would probably be a recipe for potentially a major winter storm along the coastal areas of the New England states down towards the eastern mid-Atlantic states. But because it's not quicker, you can see that low pressure system gets a lot of snowfall going on into the rest of the Atlantic Ocean there, and then it actually becomes a blizzard for areas like just barely south of New Brunswick. So Nova Scotia probably going to get a lot of snowfall out of this low pressure system because our clipper system is going to be moving too slow. You can see that massive blast pulling in behind it here going into Saturday. We're going to be seeing freezing temperatures potentially as far south as northern Mississippi and northern Georgia. Pulling it on into Sunday, that blast is going to very slowly exit the United States. Pulling on into Monday now, we get a second clipper system Monday afternoon and evening that makes its way through Wisconsin, Michigan, into Ontario, and then as we go into Tuesday morning into the northeastern portions of the U.S. here, like New York and Pennsylvania, could see some snow out of that clipper system. Then as we go into Christmas Day, it's actually changed quite a bit, and now looks like we're going to have quite a rainy Christmas Day out here. If you live anywhere in, say, eastern Kentucky, most of Tennessee, Alabama, all of Georgia, probably going to have a rainy Christmas. And then as we get towards Christmas night, it's actually going to push towards Virginia and North Carolina. So make sure you make plans around this system. It looks like it's probably going to be a pretty rainy Christmas if you live out there in the eastern U.S., which will most likely result in a white Christmas if you are in the far northeastern portions of the U.S. And potentially, if we just back this up a bit, we may still have a few inches of snow on the ground in northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin going into Christmas because of that clipper system that we will see on Monday and Tuesday. Before I get on into the rest of today's video, I ask that you guys hit that like button as well as share this video with your family, friends, and on social media to help spread weather awareness, and subscribe to the channel with the notification bell set to all so you know when I go live or upload a video. Speaking about live streams, it will probably be live this Friday on the 20th of December. Let's go right on into the rest of today's video. Then pulling this out to the 26th here, which is Thursday, of course, next Thursday. That's going to be the first day that we could see severe weather, most likely going to be out here in Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Right now, it doesn't look like a good severe weather threat going into Thursday. However, if we pull this into Saturday, this is going to be Saturday the 28th of December, so pretty far out. We're almost 240 hours out here. The GFS model run does want a pretty substantial, potentially significant severe weather threat to occur in portions of the deep south into the southern Ohio Valley. We're going to continue to monitor it. I would not take this seriously at the moment. It is just a single run, but we will be watching it closely just in case we continue to see this trend. Now let's take a look at your European model run for this clipper system making its way into the US today into tomorrow. You'll see the European model run really has about the same scenario as the GFS, with a lot of snowfall going over most of Minnesota into North Dakota by Thursday morning. That is tomorrow morning. And then as we go through Thursday afternoon and evening, this pulls over Wisconsin and most of Michigan. However, on Friday, the European is just slightly different. It actually loses most of its moisture Friday morning and Friday afternoon, which means we're gonna, if this plays out, we would see a lot less snowfall over the New England states. So that's also a possibility there. The European model run also agrees with the Northeast missing out on that snowstorm, and going into Saturday, Nova Scotia will probably be the place to see a lot of snowfall out of this big system, which it trended northwest, but it's now trending back eastward. So it's going to be a very close call for a winter storm if you're in like southeastern Maine, but anywhere else, it's probably just going to be mostly a coating if you live anywhere in the New England states, back out here towards Wisconsin, Illinois, back down towards Kentucky, Tennessee, and portions of Virginia as well. Now, I will say we'll probably see about half a foot of snowfall or so in this general vicinity here. So that's going to be the area where we will have a pretty good amount of snowfall on the ground. Now going on into our temperatures, this time using the NAM model because we are closer in a shorter range and time frame here, which will allow for better resolution model runs. So if we go to and pull this on out, this is going into tomorrow afternoon. You'll see that low pressure system associated with your Clipper system, and then watch all this cold air slam into the U.S. going into Friday morning, Thursday night, Friday morning. We're going to see that just slam into Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Illinois Friday morning. Going into Friday afternoon, it will continue into Kentucky and Tennessee. And then Friday night into Saturday morning, that's when it's going to be the worst. Saturday morning, we're probably going to be looking at freezing conditions all the way down into central Mississippi, central Alabama, central Georgia, most of the Carolinas into Virginia, and all of the Northeast, as well as the entirety of the central and northern United States as well. So a lot of people are going to be seeing freezing temperatures Saturday morning, and then as we go into Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, it will warm up slightly. Now, this cold air in this general area here, this will linger around for just a little bit. I'll show you that right now on the GFS model run. Here's the GFS model run. This is going into the 22nd of December, and you'll see this cold air linger around here. 22nd, 23rd of December, it's continuing to linger around. 24th of December, Christmas Day here, it's probably going to still try to linger around. You could see your freezing temps are finally going back up towards Canada here. Now let's take a look at one of my favorite products here. This is your 500 millibar wind speeds on the 12Z GFS model run, and I want to go ahead and pull this on out to tomorrow. This is Thursday morning. Very clearly can see your low pressure system generally in this area with your Clipper system and your trough ejection all in this whole area here. So that's going to allow for snowfall to be falling in this general vicinity on this frame. And if we just pull this forward even more into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, now going into Friday morning, you'll see that trough begins to dig deeper here into the central portions of the U.S. If that is the case, we'll see that cooler temperatures divot further south, potentially into Oklahoma Friday morning. Pulling that out even further here, you will see into Friday and Saturday morning. That's when your trough is going to divot all the way down towards Georgia and maybe even into Florida. So that's going to be the night, Friday night into Saturday morning, where, like I said, we're going to see those freezing temps as far south as like central Mississippi, central Alabama, central Georgia, and most of the Carolinas will be in those freezing temperatures. Going on into Friday, or rather Sunday now, December 22nd, not really much will happen here in the U.S. We are going to see another Clipper system, though, entering the U.S. here on Sunday, and then going into Sunday night and Monday morning, you'll see that Clipper system generally in this area here. The low pressure would be somewhere in that vicinity. That could bring some more snowfall to some of the areas that will be seeing snowfall over the next 3 days. I don't think that will accumulate too much, but it's going to bring another, small coating to some areas that have already seen snow in that region. And if we go ahead and pull this on forward here, this is when things are going to get interesting. This is going into the 25th of December, obviously Christmas Day here, and you'll see this trough. This is the trough that we'll be watching. This trough here and the trough that follows that for the potential of severe weather. Now, if we continue this on out, the GFS actually doesn't have this first trough ejection being that significant. You can see here on Wednesday, December 25th, its jet stream is about 75 to 80 knots. But as it traverses the southern Rockies, it actually loses much of its jet stream and weakens there, and that allows for minimal instability. So this trough isn't really digging a lot. It's not a well amplitude negative tilted trough. So that means it has minimal instability. So while this could cause some severe weather going into the 26th, which is Thursday, I don't think it will be anything notable whatsoever. Now, what the GFS does with this trough here, you can see here a massive negatively tilted trough ejection, very large negatively tilted trough ejection going into Friday, December 27th. And look at the 28th of December here. It amplifies that trough significantly. You could see over the Four Corners area, that main trough has about an 80 to 85 knot jet stream. And then as it pulls into Louisiana and Texas on Saturday, that's like 110, yeah, about 110 knot jet stream there. So very significant model run here on the GFS, and that would definitely cause the potential for a tornado outbreak somewhere on the southern side of that trough. If I had to point out where on this model run, it would definitely be on the southern side right in this region, because that's where you have instability in the Gulf of Mexico and your troughs pulling up that instability. Now, hopefully this doesn't happen. If it does happen, we will be looking at probably our most significant event in about 2 or 3 months here in the southern sides of the US. Taking a look back at our GFS ensembles for supercell composite, your daily average, of course, you can see we're going to still maintain that inactive phase here all the way until just at or after Christmas Day. That's when we're going to start seeing a big spike, and some of these spike very, very significantly all the way up to almost 3 supercell composites. So there's quite a big range here in ensembles. Some want a potentially significant outbreak, while the majority of these just want the potential for severe weather here. You could see about 1 maybe going into 0.5 supercell composite. So definitely a very solid signal at potentially significant and severe weather here on the 28th and or the 29th of December. Now you can see here on the 26th, not much of a signal right here. It's very minimal supercell composite. So it's going to be that massive trough there that the GFS is showing towards the 28th and 29th. That's going to be the system that could cause severe weather in the south central portions of the US. Here's your newly updated CFS version 2 week 2 supercell composite parameter for Christmas Day all the way until December 31st. And just as I talked about, I think 2 videos ago, we have indeed seen that supercell composite stretch now into portions of Oklahoma, into Arkansas. So that's going to be the best area to watch, the area that is most likely to see severe weather out of this upcoming system as we go towards the end of this year. I do think it could be a little bit more eastward as well. I would be watching into the southern Tennessee Valley, and then of course back on into the southern plains. So this is the whole area that I'm watching for the potential of severe weather towards like the 26th all the way till generally the 29th time frame of December. Well, I'm going to show you guys the European model run again, because the newest European model run actually just finished rendering in. So this is a fresh model run that just finished as I'm recording, and you can see it shows still much of the same, with a lot of snowfall impacting much of the northern sides of the US going on into tomorrow morning. Pulling that forward, that snowfall is going to continue into northern Illinois, into Indiana, going into Friday morning, and then impacting much of Michigan as we go through Friday afternoon. I want to see if it has uptrended at all in the Northeast. Maybe just a little bit for New York, but generally still looks about the same as the model run we looked at earlier in this video. I do want to look at the temperatures as well using the European model run. We actually skipped over this. We're going to pull this on out till tomorrow morning and just look at that blast. I mean, you can very clearly see it right here. That's where that blast of cold air is entering the US going into tomorrow morning. And then as we pull this into tomorrow afternoon, you could still see that blast continuing in. And look at that. It is midday tomorrow, and we're at 26 degrees Fahrenheit there in north central Nebraska, into the teens in South Dakota. Pulling this on into Friday morning, that's when this blast is going to enter like Missouri, Kansas, into Oklahoma. And then look at this. Going into Saturday, the European model run actually agrees with the NAM model, bringing those freezing temperatures potentially into Texas, into Louisiana, central, maybe even southern Mississippi, central Alabama, northern Georgia, and a good chunk of the Carolinas, into the entirety of the Northeast and the entire central and northern United States there going into Saturday. Pulling this on out into Sunday, you'll see it sticks around in much of the United States Sunday morning, and then we should see it warm up as we go into Monday here. It warms up in the central U.S., still freezing cold. Look at that. Monday morning, it is literally down into the low teens out here where I am in Southern Virginia. That is just crazy on the European model run there. Tuesday, that cold air should linger in much of the north central U.S., the northeastern United States. Wednesday, it should continue to linger. And then into the 26th, we should linger still around the freezing point in the morning hours there. And it does look like the European model run is quite significantly warmer here going into the 28th and 29th of December, but we'll most likely still experience a period of about 1 week of seeing freezing temperatures in this entire portion of the United States. The European model run, though, definitely is a little bit warmer going on into the 26th, 27th of December. So very interesting there. And then as we pull this on into the 28th, you can see it. That's your cold front right there. That is your cold front there going on into the 28th and 29th of December. So the European model run definitely shows a severe weather threat generally in this location here on the 28th into the morning hours of the 29th of December, just like the GFS model run had as well. We got quite a lot to look at here on the CPC outlook. So this is for the 23rd to the 27th of December, and they do have a very large area of above average temperatures in the central and northern United States. Now you have to remember, North Dakota and Minnesota, you guys are normally into like the 20s here closing out December. So you guys will probably in the morning, you'll be seeing, 30 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But in the afternoon, North Dakota and Minnesota could actually warm up to like the low 40s, upper 30s. So you guys are actually going to be pushing out of that freezing point as we go towards about the 23rd to the 27th of December. And that is well above average for you guys this time of year. Normally North Dakota, Minnesota, we're consistently seeing those clipper systems, snowstorms, even potentially negative temperatures out there in those areas of the U.S. And as we go towards Christmas, you guys are actually going to be, I wouldn't say warm, I would just say above average. You're still going to be around that freezing point to just barely above it, but you won't be into those negatives. You could also see they have also introduced that area of above average precipitation here in the southern United States. That includes Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. That's because we're going to see like 3 or 4 pretty large storms that will bring rain to that area. Only 1 or 2 of those may actually bring severe weather. That's the storm on the 26th and the storm on the 28th and the 29th of December that could bring severe weather to that general vicinity. And we're also going to be drier out here in much of the eastern portions of the United States going towards Christmas. And of course, we'll also be below average, as we know that cold air is going to linger in the eastern portions of the United States as well. Pulling that out further here, this is going towards all the way till the end of 2024. We should end 2024 relatively active. We're going to have a pretty active pattern here from Christmas Day all the way till New Year's Day. But look what's going to happen after New Year's Day. If I pull this on out even further, we're going to completely switch. We're going to completely switch into that completely dry pattern, inactive pattern, probably like on New Year's Day, if not into early 2025. We should be quite significantly below average in terms of precipitation here in much of the eastern and southeastern portions of the U.S. and will most likely be warmer than average. Keyword is average here in much of the United States to close out 2024 going into 2025. Looking at precipitation here, this is your risk of heavy precipitation. We're still looking at a pretty significant atmospheric river that is really anticipated at this moment for the 26th and 27th of December in the Pacific Northwest. That's going to be the trough ejection that will most likely bring a severe weather threat just after that out here in the deep south between the time frame of the 26th through the 30th of December. And if we look at your snowfall outlook here as well, we actually have 2 moderate risks that they have introduced out here in the Pacific Northwest. That's going to include a good chunk of Idaho into western Montana, a good chunk of your Four Corners area out here in the western U.S., as well as out towards the higher elevations and the mountain range out here in California. They also have that risk, a moderate risk there of high winds in much of the northwestern United States because of that atmospheric river. I do want to show you guys what the GFS model run has for this atmospheric river. So we're going to pull this all the way out till the 25th. This is Christmas Day of December here. And that's when we're going to see the first signs of our atmospheric river. And look at this, going into the 26th, you can see all that precipitation, all that heavy snowfall over your higher elevation regions in the northwestern United States. That pushes south going into the 26th, the afternoon of the 26th, I should say. Going into Friday morning, it continues off to the south and east. And then as we go into Saturday, it actually traverses the Rockies. You can see that low pressure system there on the GFS model run traverse the Rockies, and then that's what would cause your severe weather threat going into the 28th of December for your south central United States, south central plains. And as we pull this out further, you'll see we'll probably end up with another atmospheric river on the 29th. the 30th of December. Alrighty, just to give you an update here on who will be seeing a white Christmas. Like I said, we'll have a chance up here in North Dakota and Minnesota. It just depends on if our snow actually melts in those areas before we get to Christmas Day. I think we will, I'm pretty sure we will be seeing a white Christmas out here if you live in the northeastern portions of the United States, northern New York, probably most of, if not all of Vermont, into most of New Hampshire, with the exception of southeastern New Hampshire, and probably into northwestern Maine as well. I think you guys will be seeing a white Christmas here in 2024. And yeah, as expected, we're probably all going to be left out here. Even, I would say, probably the higher elevations of West Virginia may have an opportunity to get a white Christmas here, but pretty much if you don't live in the Rockies and in the higher elevations of the northeastern United States, and like I said, probably a chance there in the north central U.S., you're really going to be left out. All of Texas obviously will be left out, all of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, of course, the deep south, Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, Virginia. We're all going to be left out on a white Christmas. So I'll just reiterate this. The best chance for a white Christmas, which at this point almost expecting it, is going to be in the northeastern portions of the U.S. You'll have a chance up here in the north central U.S. It's just going to be a matter of if that snow melts in time for Christmas or not. And then you'll probably have another chance out here if you're in the very, very high elevations of West Virginia. Now taking a look at your GFS ensemble for your supercell composite here. We're going to bring this all the way out to the 26th of December. That's when our ensemble first lights up at the opportunity of severe weather, generally in the southern tier of the United States. Really, the only place where it may be possible is going to be in that green area. So Louisiana and Mississippi may have an opportunity for severe weather in the afternoon hours of the 26th of December. And then look at this as we go into the 27th, the night of the 27th. We'll see it light up out here in Texas, Louisiana, and then we should see it light up east of those locations here as we go into the afternoon of the 28th. And we do just a little bit, not really that much. We see it light up just a bit going into Mississippi, Alabama, and into Louisiana and Arkansas here for your ensembles. So generally, we are looking at severe weather in this general vicinity here on your GFS ensembles as well. Maybe not as far north as what the CFS version 2 was showing. This doesn't pull it all the way into Arkansas as well, but still going to generally be looking at severe weather in this highlighted region here as we go into the 26th as well as into the 28th of December. This is what the radar looks like currently across the country. You could see our Clipper system is currently entering Montana into North Dakota. That's going to be pushing in through a good chunk of the United States as we go through tomorrow as well as into Friday. We're also seeing a very large system. This is a massive system already bringing some snowfall to portions of the Northeast, most likely not accumulating that much. It was also bringing the potential for tornadoes today in Tennessee. We did have one tornado warning earlier this morning. And we're also going to be seeing widespread rainfall from this system impacting portions of the western Appalachian mountain range. A lot of that precipitation will be wrung out before it gets to Virginia and North Carolina later on tonight. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching another detailed video. I appreciate it a lot. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Make sure to hit that like button on your way out, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with your family, friends, and on social media. Like I said, I will have a live stream hopefully on Friday, and then we'll have a video sometime between tomorrow and the end of 2024, but I'm only planning one video and then that live stream on Friday for the rest of this year. I'm going to get very, very busy towards the end of this year, of course, as you guys know, so I really appreciate you guys watching. Hope you have a great rest of your 2024 year, and Merry Christmas. Goodbye.